It's going to be generating a lot of pressure both onside, but perhaps not so much against the Tryndamere, and this Tryndamere is going to be the big issue for Rogue later on in the game.
What does Targamas go for? I think something like Nautilus would just round the comp out really, really well.
He often does set into things like Leona.
Brown, Rakan, anything that can just go in would be fantastic, and there it is. Rakan locked in for Targamas. Look at G2's comp, it's pretty clear what it is. A lot of team fight with MF Jarvan and Rakan, right? But you have good side lanes with Tryndamere and Ahri. Rogue's comp a little bit strong in the early game, with the Rumbles in Lucian playing heavy towards top side. The Aphilos, of course, will be their late game insurance. A bit of a 1-4 comp with the Lucian on side lane.
Yeah, I would definitely say that in terms of ease of execution, G2's looks a lot more straightforward, right? Yep. You have the go in button, the damage buttons, then immediately follow up. And I think what's cool is the Tryndamere can match on side lane as well. You can chase down AD carries, even though Lucian very mobile. Tryndamere, he doesn't really struggle when it comes to chasing anyone down. So G2 have answers pretty much all across the board. The biggest thing is going to be in the early game, as you mentioned. What can Rogue actually get done? We know that Malrang is a hyper-aggressive ganking jungler, but what can he actually do with the early game power that he has?
And I think Rogue needs to be very careful of Jankos' creativity. We saw it yesterday. 5 minutes in, he's ganked all 3 lanes. He's doing red into mid gank, red Raptors into mid gank, 3 camps into bot gank, so they need to make sure they can track this Jarvan in the early stages.
Whew, very interesting drafts for Game 1. Rogue definitely kind of flexing and showcasing all the different variety of champions they can play. G2 kind of sticking to their style, but they were able to win a dominating 3-0 on yesterday. This is going to be very indicative of the series as to how things are going to evolve. I'm expecting this to be a close final, and it's going to be a banger already in Game 1.
I hope it's a close final, Betty, I'm going to be honest. 8 titles on one side. Only 7 splits on the other. Rogue have less splits in the league than G2 have crowns here in the LEC. But Rogue, they've gone 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. Perhaps today is the day that they claim their first here in Europe. 5 games on the menu you have to field between G2 and Rogue. It's gonna be a banger, I'm sure of it. Let's get onto Summoner's Rift. That was early. That was really early. That's entirely
It's
on
going.
me. Yeah, it's going. Let's get on to Summoner's Rift. Woo! The haze in front of the screen. It's a bit of a mysterious entry to the Rift of this game. And you talked a lot about Rogue's strength in the early game. How do we think they're going to be able to enact this early on?
Well, we have to keep our eyes on Jankos. I mean, in terms of raw setup, mid-level 2 could work if Caps goes Charm second. Bot lane could work as well with the Rakan. Top lane, not too much setup, but I think Jankos might have to cover it. Malrang will play towards the top side, and Jankos has 2 options. 1, path into it and cover it, or 2, look for plays on the opposite side. Looks like for now he is going to match Malrang as expected. When you're a jungler, you can look around lanes and you can say to yourself, well, he has a Rumble Ignite top on the enemy team. They're going to play around top side. I need to be up there to match it.
Looks like that is the direction that he will be going in, but again, Jankos, he's a little unpredictable in terms of his early game pathing. Where will he look to gank? Remember that you will see Flakked and Targamas already in the lane. If we could have a very quick look down towards the bot side of the map, you will see that they do have that early push. The energy slowly being built up here in Berlin. Roman, this is his classic. This is a classic Roman.
Oh, we've got the stomps coming in now as well. It's like a Broadway musical.
Ooh. Energy in the room.
And already it feels tense, right? You know, the stakes are so high. G2 want to return back to the top of Europe. Rogue want to secure their first title. They have been top 3 consistently over the last 4 splits. It was last year that Rogue found themselves in a final and they fell short at the final hurdle.
Yeah.
Both of these teams are hungry to win.
And this is a team of Rogue where they're always finishing 1st or 2nd in the regular season itself. It always comes to playoffs where they're called the chokers, they fail, and they never really get back up when they fall, and it feels like this playoffs has been the complete opposite. They fell. They were 0-2 down against Fnatic, and they got the hell back up, and they were able to reverse sweep, put themselves in this position, and now they're up against G2. We'll see what they can get done for now. It looks like Jankos is going to finish off towards his red buff. Malrang did 3 bot camps there and was looking for something in the bot side. River does put him behind for now, but Larson has a little bit of mid push. Doesn't have the cleanse though, so if the charm lands, really aggressive dash there, then he could be in trouble.
Yeah, Larson playing around with the press the attack there. Of course, it's press the attack into electrocute in the mid lane. Lucian can win out those extended trades, especially if he dodges away from the charm.
Lucian very powerful in the early laning phase as well. We haven't really seen much Lucian mid here in Europe outside of Larssen. When it was very prevalent in the meta, it was one of his go-to champions. Something he found a lot of success on, but I'm keeping my eyes on Jankos right now. Okay. He has managed to avoid the vision. Larssen is hovering around where his jungler is on the flash charm.
Jankos coming for follow-up, and that's gotta be it. Larssen nowhere to go. Gifted over the Caps.
It's absolutely beautiful, and it's Jankos once again. It happened yesterday, it's happening today. Creative pathings, level 3 gank onto Larssen. He had a ward on that side of the river, so he thought it was absolutely fine, but Jankos snuck around it. But now it's Malrang who's being a bit sneaky. Jankos has flash, level 3 to level 4.
It's going to be forced away here, EQ over the wall. And we'll note it's first strike Jarvan here for Jankos, perhaps picking up some tricks from Malrang, who spammed that in solo queue a couple of weeks ago.
So Caps is the one who gets the kill, and you can see when the charm lands, Larssen really can't get in. He can't get out. He's going to die no matter what. Jankos even had flash to follow through, so he saved himself. The problem is Caps getting that early kill gives him Sork shoes, so he can take early base if he wants to, run back to lane pretty happily, blow in waves, look to roam around side lanes. He will always be kind of one step ahead against Larssen, who only has the Doran's Blade and Corrupting Bolt.
And this is one of the things that's great to see as a Jarvan player, is when you have that setup in the lane. You look towards bot lane, you have the Rakan setup. When you look at mid lane, yes, you do have to invest your flash, but now that you've already gotten that small advantage in the mid lane, especially with the wave state in the awkward position that it is in, Caps is going to be great, especially once he gets level 6. There's even more gank pressure that's going to continue to build up, so Larssen has to be wary of further ganks in the future.
You talk about gank pressure, of course, because Caps can gap close onto Larssen with the tier 2 boots, but also he can play defensive. If Malrang runs towards him and Caps has no flash, of course, the boots help out so much in running away. So can play offensive, can play defensive. Top lane's been a bit quiet for now. No top laner having TP. It's very kind of individual prowess and wave control. And it looks like the wave's bouncing into Broken Blade.
This is where we see some of the limitations of what Rogue have drafted for themselves early. They don't have a lot of setup in their lanes. Malrang can dive in and he can apply some slows, but what? You've got one dash on the Ahri, you've got another dash in the Tryndamere. Like, these are not easy lanes to gank. And so you're very reliant on Trimby actually getting out of the lane and looking to impact elsewhere. So keep your eyes on the bot lane. Have a look as to where Trimby starts to roam, because you definitely know that very soon he's going to be looking for an opportunity somewhere on the map.
There he goes, Malrang.
Jumped onto Jankos, who can just EQ away. Didn't have vision down towards the bottom side, so decided against going aggressive onto the rogue jungler there. Trimby coming in as well. Places the ward, and Jankos will now know that Trimby was in the vicinity.
An interesting thing that's actually been happening in this early stages. Despite the early bot push, Rogue have had 3 pushing lanes. Larssen's had consistent mid push. Odo's had Broken Blade under his tower the majority of the time, and that's why when Jankos passed towards top early, he backtracked down towards bot. 1, because he doesn't have pushing lanes to contest the crab, and 2, to be a bit creative, so he catches the rest of the Rogue off guard, and you can see it here, you know, he's constantly warded out, pushed away by Malrang on the bot side, now pushed away by Larssen on the top side. So this is something we saw from G2 in the early stages of the playoffs, where they don't actually have any prior lanes, nothing to play for, and Jankos really struggled to make any plays. But when that was happening, he was playing things like Lee Sin, which is a little bit harder to do so on. Now he's got caps on playmakers, and he's on things like the Jarvan and Volibear. It's a little bit easier to balance out the early game.
Well, he is. Odoamne going to invest his ultimate so he can get a quick reset off. Will give him that slight advantage, and it's kind of needed as the Rumble, especially when you're not running the teleport. The wave mechanics become a lot more intricate when you can't just, oh, my wave's a bit awkward, no problem, I'll just TP back into lane. But now he has more than enough time, and he's also got himself the upgraded boots as well. So Odoamne looking pretty good in the 1v1. And Jankos finding an opportunity to get a bit of an invade off as Targamas follows quickly behind.
Once again, it's Trimby and Malrang trying to team up here, trying to get into their own jungle, gain control of it once again, with a minute on the Rift Herald spawn. I wonder if these two teams will stay up here for a while. You can see Flakked working his way down mid lane, whereas Comp has gone bot. So if a fight did erupt, G2 would have a man advantage, although Flakked not yet with the team. Jankos stepping forward, Broken Blade past the tower, proxying as well, Larssen coming in from the side, but no fight will erupt.
G2 just testing Rogue a bit there, saying we can dive your top laner. He has no ult for top wave. If we 4-man him, he's dead. So Rogue has to cover, testing the waters a bit, just getting deeper and deeper in their jungle. They see Larsen's moving, they see Malrang, they see Trimby, they say, okay, they 4-man match this play, good job, we've shut us down. Now we'll go towards mid bot side, so...
Ooh, it's tense, you know, you can see both teams really respecting, playing off of what the other is doing, but also reading the map very well. Both teams, I feel like the top 2 here in Europe, really stacking up, delivering some high-quality league, but Trimby now on the map. Where is Malrang? Very shortly behind him as well. They're looking.
Caps no flash, then the play's going to follow him. Sun coming in as well. The Culling connects, but the Spirit Rush will be enough from Caps to escape.
So a lot invested to try and get that kill onto Caps, but thanks to the mobility that Ahri does have, he's able to escape. Now this does give a small window for G2 to look for something elsewhere on the map, but with Jankos back in base, Rogue is going to take control of the bot rip.
And Larsen's culling might have looked a little bit odd there, as if he missed, but what he was doing is he knew preemptively that Caps would dash away, so he wanted to make sure his culling was in line as to where Caps would dash. He did land a little bit of damage, but yeah, not enough to land the kill.
crucial thing here is, even though Caps has lost his ultimate, his flash is now back up, and he can just kind of keep rotating between these two skills in order to be extra safe. And this is what we were talking about. You're very reliant on Trimby to be that engage tool, be that utility, because without it, it's very difficult to lock down this G2 lineup. And then we come back to the draft, that Poppy ban, very big, really big in terms of mitigating a lot of what G2's comp wants to do. So they have the slight gold lead, but right now it is Rogue that start off the Herald.
We saw a similar kind of thing from Rogue in their Fnatic series, where they have really high prio solo laners. They pick blue side and they 2-3 Victor Gnar 2 games in a row, and they lost both of them. The confidence of the lock-ins of the Rumble Lucian, again, they have a similar kind of plan coming into game 1. I'm sure they'll be flexible and versatile if they do lose this game, because of course a Poppy early rotation would be good into the RE Jarvan, but Broken Blade.
Equalizer's going to come down. Broken Blade, of course, has the Undying Rage, just looking to kill him onto Odoamne, who flashes away. Malrang on the chase, and Broken Blade a little bit too over-ego. Rogue get their first kill of finals. Caps is on his way, though, with the Cataclysm come down. There's no way for Odoamne to escape. He'll be sacrificed. Malrang leaves him to die, and Caps, once again, will be gifted over this kill.
Rogue are on the board, but G2 quick to answer. Similar to yesterday, again, when Fnatic make plays, they're always there. G2 responding to everything on the map and looking for their own plays at the same time.
Good response from Caps, and to be honest, the amount of damage that was coming out from Odoamne, part of me feels that if Malrang had stayed, they may have been able to get that kill, but it was the smarter option, it was the safer option for Malrang to just disengage, reset, don't bother risking that overextended trade, and ends up being a 1-for-1.
Yeah, because Caps didn't actually have ultimate up when he roamed towards top. He didn't have much to work with, but I don't think Rogue knew the full cooldown of the RE ultimate, so that's why they choose to back away. The initial play looks good, but it's Broken Blade forcing it. Interestingly, Malrang's the one who's coming top first. Jankos is on Herald, and Broken Blade, I don't know if this all-in is to pull the enemy jungle here and make it so it's a 2v2, or if he knows his mid laner has push, but he overforces it, misses the E, and ends up dying, but of course, Caps collapses.
All summoner spells end up getting used on the top side, but look at this overheat damage that comes out from Odoamne. Jankos kind of running out of gas there. If it weren't for Caps, Odo likely would have been able to secure that kill, but it will be a kill over in G2's favor. They, off the back of that, secured the Herald, which means that on the map right now, they have pretty solid control.
Odo just trying to crash these top waves. Still has a little bit of top push. Broken Blade, no summoners, makes the all-in a little bit harder. And the gold is still dead even. That Herald will sway it a little bit. Still no dragons taken. Malrang back up towards the top side.
for Broken Blade right now.
Look away Jankos as well, though. He's on his way up here. Does have the flash, doesn't have the Cataclysm. Malrang's Crescent Guard about to come off cooldown. They know that Jankos is here. Malrang will spot him and jump on him as well. Knockup will not stop Jankos from getting his EQ out, and because of that, Broken Blade just able to farm under the tower. I
have to say, very smart by Jankos there, because a lot of junglers moving towards Krugs, you would just naturally EQ the Krugs and start damaging it, trying to kill the camp. Keeps his cooldowns just in case maybe enemy junglers here looking for a top dive. He was able to EQ away, doesn't have to use the flash. Targamas and Trimby been hovering around this mid-top side so much. Oh, charm.
Gorgeous charm from Caps. Targamas here as well, but with Trimby in the area, Larson is able to walk to the safety of his tower.
You know, we talked about it yesterday. Caps definitely feeling it so far in playoffs. The energy of the crowd definitely doing him a lot of favors, and you know, we were looking back at a play that he made that I had no idea that he got a pentakill versus T1 when they were playing in MSI back in 2019. Like, the man in front of a crowd, when he gets given that stage, that audience, that platform to perform, he often does.
Yeah, he really does. Both he and Jankos performing incredibly well early on in this game with the Rift Herald going in the mid lane. Caps picks up some of that gold. Odoamne is going to spot Jankos, who does have the Cataclysm, puts down the smite as well. Trimby's on his way. Solar Flare dodged away by Jankos, but the Zenith Blade will still follow him. Jankos stunned up. There's nowhere for him to go. Tick, tick, boom. Odo gets his kill.
Do you know how Rogue knew Jankos was there? He put the Herald down and the gold flew into Rogue's jungle, and they was like, hang on a second, someone's in our jungle. Then he got another 80 gold from a plate, and it went back into their jungle again, so Rogue had no vision, but they knew someone was around there. They collapsed on Jankos, and maybe Jankos saying, wait, how did they know I was here? It was the gold flying through the fog of war. Rogue found themselves a pick.
Good flash by Comp. Would have been dead if he hadn't flashed away from that. The combination of Rakan and Misfortune can be devastating, but Comp able to survive, and in the bottom lane, just had to use that summoner.
So, when we kind of take stock of the current game, we're approaching 15 minutes, and when we talked about the early game, expectations were that Rogue's comp needs to try and get ahead. They have a lot of pushing lanes, you kind of want to be bullying G2 around, but right now the gold is dead even. Remember that as the game goes on, G2's teamfight composition is going to be very difficult for Rogue to manage. When you think about the Rakan, Ari, Tryndamere, Jarvan, very mobile champions, a lot of dashes, and your only CC is Comp when he has the gravity guns, and then also Trimby. So being able to lock all these champions down is going to be very difficult, especially when it comes to these team fights. And right now, Rogue don't actually have control of these early objectives. They're not afraid to give over a lot of early Drakes, but I am getting a little more concerned for Rogue when we haven't seen a huge amount from them so far.
Well, because in the past, when they gave up early objectives, they were able to get gold on the rest of the map. You can see they average 1.4 or 1.7 thousand gold ahead at the 14-minute mark. And yes, sometimes it's not about towers, it's not about taking those early objectives. Instead, it's about getting good kills and then catching waves out of it. Here, even with pushing lanes, G2 are keeping them at arm's length.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday. G2 in every single game were able to get the first two neutral objectives, the Herald and the Dragon. It's happened again here, and we think of Rogue of past years, 2021, 2020, they always prefer pushing lanes, and it was to get inspired through the early game so we could power farm or have Malrang make plays around the map and look for early dives. And Larsen Odo, true to their name, as they have done last year as well, just pick pushing lanes. They've kept it up for now, hasn't netted them too much, a little bit of plates in the solo lanes, but of course G2 answering with the Herald has evened up the gold state. First Dragon over to G2, platings are off. And I think G2 are just kind of lying in wait, waiting for the mythic item onto Broken Blade. Then you can look for some more all-ins, but Odoamne going Zhonya's first makes it really hard for Jankos and Broken Blade to kill the Rumble.
This is very likely going to be the bot tower going down. The blue buff will be handed over to Larsen. Obviously very valuable on the Lucian, especially in the laning phase, but it means that there's no real cross map. Broken Blade doesn't have information as to exactly where Malrang is, so he's a little afraid of getting tower dive, but with the wave thinned out, he's in a good position, and now he's going all in.
I don't think he's too afraid right now as he forces Odoamne away, but Odo, with the scrap shield, with the overheat, is able to chunk out Broken Blade. Jankos steals away another camp out of Malrang's jungle.
Rogue a little bit down on tempo here. They need to take this top tier one. G2 have already answered with the first tower, and Flacket's basically in base at this point, so they're going to be first out onto the map, and Odoamne still needs to get this tower down. By the time he does, G2 will be on the map. We'll see what play they look for. Caps is looking to try to defend it. I don't know if he'll be there in time. He will. So, first tower to G2. Rogue haven't found an answer yet.
Yeah, I don't think they were going to be able to get that tower either, but let's see if Malrang's come up with something clever here. He's going to make his way into the lane. Jankos is hovering around, clearing out some of the vision. He has no information as to where Malrang is right now.
They know that G2's bot lane is going to swap top, so instead of basing here, it looks like they're just going to overstay and try to surprise Flacket. Now, if this play backfires, it's a disaster on the map because G2 will have every wave to work with, but if it doesn't, it stabilizes the tempo on the map. Trimby's behind, Flacket.
He's got the claims, he's got the flash, but he's out of position now. Jankos on his way, Trimby stepping forward, Flacket flashes away, the claim's available, but nowhere for him to go. Rogue pounce from the bush.
Brilliant play from Rogue. They did invest a lot, but you read the map perfectly, Cadril. They knew exactly what was going to happen. The swap comes through from Flacket. He's isolated in the top lane. He's not expecting Rogue members to be sitting in that brush, and they end up finding themselves a kill. But G2 answer with a tower in mid.
Odo will finally get that top tier one, so that play worked out in the end. Caps a bit aggressive here. Trimby lying in wait, doesn't have the ultimate. Targamas has been hovering around all game long to make sure he's safe, and he will be for now. Herald just spawned. Flacket up in 2 seconds. We'll have the W, of course, with the change in the patch. When the MF respawns, does get a lot of move speed out of base with the home guards too, but he has to catch top wave. G2 poising for the team fight. We'll see what ultimates that they have. Rogue still missing that equalizer from Odoamne, but they want this objective. Broken Blade's been pushing bot.
He's on the tier 2 and he's got no TP, so G2 can poke and they can prod, but they can't really advance into a team fight here. As I say that, Jankos steps into the darkness. Targamas there as well. The bullet time coming in and whipping through them, but the stopwatches will stop Rogue from falling. Jankos has to flash away. Caps on his way. Spirit Rush a possibility. He goes on to Trimby first. He'll get the reset there.
Once more.
3 stacks on it, but Larsen comes in from the backside. The smite from Jankos, not enough. Equalizer onto Flacket as well as Larsen looks to take down one. Caps gets a second. 2 Spirit Rush charges. A possibility of a re-engage. Broken Blade still not here. The tier 2 hits target as he will secure it. Caps dives in. The charm connects, but Odo's up to it towards the flank. Flash, not enough. Oh, Caps with a great route though. Able to get out alive.
G2 get everything. That was a 5v4 from the get-go. Broken Blade was just farming bot throughout the entire thing, and it's Caps who single-handedly wins the fight for G2.
Ends up being a 2 for 2, but G2 secure the tier 2 tower in the bot lane. They deny Rogue from getting the Herald as well, and you can see that gold lead starting to mount. The Dragon spawns in a minute's time, and Broken Blade is going to add insult to injury by stealing away the red buff as well.
Oh, Caps on this Ari is...
He's something else, man.
He's tearing up the rift yesterday and today, building towards the Rabadons once again. We saw this as well when just rushing a second item at Rabadons when you're just so far ahead, and It was a bit confusing. You even wondered why G2 was engaging at this point because Broken Blade's pushing bot. It's a 5v4 from the get-go. They engage, Targamas falls, Trimby gets out on 1 HP, but it's Caps who cleans up the fight.
It certainly is. I'm amazed with Trimby's W and Malrang's ultimate, they were able to soak up that damage, but Caps gets that first pick, then has 3 dashes on his ultimate. Larson then comes in thinking he can clean up the fight and he gets very good damage, but Flackett responds with very good damage of his own. If Larson had been able to kill Flackett, this could have been a very favorable situation for Rogue. They could have gotten the Herald, maybe even a mid-tier 1, and answered a little bit more map control.
It's the sweeper that spotted them. Zenith Blade just wide. Trimby now dodges the charm. Fancy footwork there from the Rogue supporters. He's able to get away, but there's a dragon on the cards here. In 1 second time, Jankos has control over that hit at the moment.
Like you said, Manic Dragon spawn. Looks like we're in for round 2. Bot wave pushing into G2. Top wave pushing into G2. Mid wave as well. They need to start this fight up soon because they're going to bleed so much gold. Looks like they're going to force the objective. Rogue just going to give it up for now.
Your engage is half HP. Trimby's half HP. How do you ever get into the fight?
Yeah, no vision either. They lost some waves in bot. We'll be able to catch top in time unless Rogue want to start up the Herald again. Remember, that Herald didn't die. Caps going on to Comp.
Comp has nowhere to go apart from flashing away. The Solar Flare dodged as well. A summoner and an ultimate there from Caps, just using his Spirit Rush, and Rogue will start up the Rift Herald.
Important to note that Caps now won't have that available, but I think contesting this from G2 side would be a little over-aggressive.
Yeah.
They're just going to disengage, they're going to push out their waves and then look to reset, get a little bit more tempo over the map, but they have a 2k gold lead for the time being. And Caps just continuing to dominate on this Ahri. The amount of space that he is creating for G2 is just ridiculous. The way he utilizes his charms, the way he's forcing out summoner spells, is making it very difficult for Rogue to approach these fights.
Yeah, you say that G2 have a small gold lead for now, but I'm just going to bring up the minimap because what they can do is with this Herald, they can Herald this mid-tier 1. This bot tier 1 is also extremely low HP, so I think over the next course of 2 to 3 minutes, Rogue can get that gold back to an even state. They have the resources to do it. Bot wave will bounce through all the way to the tier 1. Although I'm pushing that out now, but of course G2 will try to stop them in their tracks. Rabadon's collected there, 4 Caps, 19 minutes in, 2 items strong. We'll see if they can defend the siege of Rogue.
You can see how hesitant Odoame is to overstep. He has no information as to where people are on the map just yet. He's waiting for people to appear before he overextends. It's got to be frustrating for Odo. He's now going to see Caps towards the top side. This is going to give him a little bit more security. And now he's going to look to push out that wave. There, Jankos been spotted out as well. Now he knows that G2 is investing in the top side. This is going to force Larson to go back to base.
Rogue should know that G2's Baron is not the fastest, right? MFRE not the quickest. Oh, they're looking for a pick.
Doesn't matter who wants neutral objectives when you can just take kills. Jankos takes 1 Caps locked up, but he's able to walk away alive.
Wow, okay. How did that happen in the blink of an eye? Trimby's just dead.
It's another charm from Caps, continuously looking for these plays. He goes for another one, can't quite find it though. Larson trying to answer back, but keep your eyes on Targamas. Not going to commit to the fight, but while this is happening, Broken Blade continues to split. This 4-1 pressure that G2 is creating across the map is making it very difficult for Rogue to answer.
Yeah, G2 will get this top tower, but Rogue can play on 2 lanes. I think Malrang can Herald mid here, and they can just force this mid-tier 1. Caps no ultimate. We'll see if they choose to do so. They're waiting for the waves, although when they rotated up, Malrang is in position to drop it. Trimby's coming out of base. It looks like all the pings coming down was the play, but they've called it off.
I have, for the moment, Rift Herald, as you say, still available for Malrang. Got about half of its cooldown left as Broken Blade pushes in the top lane wave. And if we look at G2 so far this game, it's been a story of 2 players, Jankos and Caps, 100% kill participation. These guys have been with this team for an age. Caps joined the league, lost twice, and then won 6 titles in a row. 4 of those with Jankos. These 2 guys are stalwarts of G2 now. And the question coming into this year was, would that be enough? Would them losing Perks and losing Reckless and losing Wonder, would Caps and Jankos be enough for G2 to rise to the occasion? Well, they're definitely rising to it right now as Jankos may be caught out just a little bit. Trimby looking for it, but you can't solo play because you don't have it off cooldown anyway.
Chooses not to overextend, but yeah, veterans in the league, obviously fan favorites as well. Everyone absolutely loves to watch Caps and Jankos play in their peak form. And right now, that's what we're seeing. They want another title back under their belt. Last year was a difficult year for them. They struggled, falling short of the finals twice, and now they have their opportunity to reclaim their title as both teams now posturing around the mid lane. The Drake spawns in a minute and a half. G2 already setting up vision, getting control over the waves.
Caps and Jankos definitely have been in the driver's seat throughout this whole lower brackets run. Steals away the crab there, Jankos in front of Malrang, and this bot tier 1 is what Rogue keep trying to play for on G2, just shadowing, pushing out the waves, denying that play. Malrang's Herald is running out soon, so if Rogue want to get this mid tower, they're going to have to base together now and set up tempo towards mid soon, otherwise they're not going to be able to get it without the Herald. I think G2 have enough vision and enough push in these lanes to hold it for now, unless some kind of team fight kicks off and Rogue get the advantage. Baron will be what G2 want to control until that dragon spawns in a minute, like you said, Vidius.
G2 3,000 gold ahead now, 23 minutes into the game, and Rogue with a composition that had push in the lanes, that had priority, that had early game strength, are struggling to find avenues to approach this game. Yes, they've got kills, but they're 4 towers to 1 down, they're 2 dragons to 1 down, to none down, and they are just not able to find an avenue to really approach this game.
I think a little bit of an uncharacteristic mistake here from Rogue. What happened was Malrang and Odwamne based from bot and ran out of base towards mid. Now Comp is just based, so they're not basing at the same time. So look at G2, they all came out of base at the same time. So now when this Herald's popped, look where all of Rogue is. They kind of have to funnel towards mid, run here. The wave's on in great states. I think Caps and Yank also run towards mid here as well. 20 seconds on this Dragon. We're probably going to get a 5v5 on the next mid wave, unless either team gives some leeway. Will be sole point for G2 though if Rogue give this up.
Looking to interrupt the Herald, Odwamne.
Jumps onto Broken Blade, but look at the damage from Odwamne. He just burns them. The Emperor's going to boot him up though with the Solar Flare with the follow-up. Broken Blade pops the Undying Mage. Equalizer off towards the backline. Broken Blade with the stopwatch of his own. Targamas coming in with the quickness. The bullet time across the board. We'll be able to get one. Odo down. Rogue though can look for the re-advances. Comp up towards the side. Trimby diving in, but he's down as well. Caps goes unstoppable. 5 kills for him, and Rogue have to retreat.
G2 continue to pick apart Rogue when they're in the setup. We saw 3 members trying to contest the midway from Rogue, and G2 saw that as an opportunity to leverage their mobility and find a pick. Props to Odo, he played that about as well as he could have, dodging absolutely everything and forcing Broken Blade on the back foot, but the follow-up from G2 was just so much stronger, and it comes back to this mobility that we were talking about. G2 have so many options to get into the fight, and Rogue just can't lock them down.
Get into the fight and get out as well. That's exactly what Caps did. So we'll look at it again here because Odwamne looked like he was caught. Really good stopwatch because this stopwatch stops the charm from hitting, so they can't commit a lot of damage. Burning through the stopwatch with the Q. Broken Blade gets extremely low. And with this overcommit here, it looks so Rogue favored with the Rumble ultimate, but then Caps dashes to the side, pops the stopwatch. In comes Targamas with the knock-up. The MF over the wall, so much damage.
And they just can't finish any other targets off. This could have been a 4v4, but Trimby felt like he needed to try and make a play to keep his team alive. He ends up losing his life for it. Ends up being a 2-for-1 in favor of G2, and that will be their 3rd Drake of the game.
And you talked about ease of execution in draft videos, and you were favoring G2. We can see it there in the team fights. Although Odwamne got so much damage onto Broken Blade, and yes, he has the ultimate, but he has to be careful. G2 have so many spells that they can just throw into an AoE fight and hope they hit. Rogue only really have the Solar Flare, maybe the Culling in a single target damage form, and then the Rumble ultimate. The Aphelios solution need to get in range, whereas G2 have so much of it with the MF Rakan.
It's one of those things where G2 right now, they've just been showcasing what they beat Fnatic with. Very strong team fighting, a lot of independent agency on players like Caps. Broken Blade, he was more on tank duty yesterday, but now he's playing that Tryndamere. He's being a massive split-pushing threat, and really they can only send Larssen to answer him. Odwamne can kind of hold him in the 1v1, but without that TP, it becomes hard to play in the 4v4. So Rogue right now find themselves 4k gold down here in Game 1. Obviously a long series to go, but G2 continuing their winning ways for the time being.
Definitely is. We have to feel like this Ari Jarvan is G2's bread and butter. Caps and Jankos have been holding hands the entire game long, ever since that mid gang to set up Caps to unlock the rest of the map. Larssen and Malrang hanging around, emoting in that bush for a bit, maybe waiting for someone to walk in for look for a pick, because right now it looks so hard to contest this Baron vision. Just checking to see if G2 were starting it over the wall there because they have no vision in the pit.
I wanted to come quickly back to your point about Jankos and Caps, mainly because you look at the scorelines, 5-0-2, 2-2-5. That is 7 of the 7 kills that G2 have had. That duo has been involved in every single one of them. And at the beginning of the year, the expectations were that, okay, if G2 is going to find ways to carry, it's going to be off the back of this mid-jungle duo. And I really feel like we're seeing this mid-jungle duo continue to shine.
We're seeing Caps roaming around the map so much in the early game, something is reminiscent of his MSI days. You know, 2019, he was everywhere. The Pike, a little bit of a meme, but they were all over the map, and it's what brought G2 so much glory in the past. Here, it's setting them up to the 1-0 up in this best of 5 in the LEC finals. Rogue are looking for something here, but G2 have control over the top side of the map.
Rogue don't really have any reliable lockdown to flag it. If they want this Rumble ult to hit onto MF, they need some lockdown. He has Cleanse coming up soon. Caps chunks out Trimby, you can see the damage.
This is what he keeps doing. He holds an area of the map and he just waits for someone to walk in, throws out the charm. If it misses, that's fine. He has ways to get out. Oh, but Caps!
Back here. Caps goes in with the Spirit Rush, just misses with both the Everfrost, the Spirit Rush back forward, Orb of Deception. That's the Solar Flare, but just on the edge of it. Equalizer going down, but the Locket Shield will be enough to keep Caps alive. He flashes. G2 now walking away a little bit wounded, but Rogue look worse for wear.
But you can see how the game's playing out. Caps is literally keeping 5 members of Rogue at bay, keeping them under their towers. The second they even try to step foot into their own jungle, Caps is ready to pounce. So this is going to be a problem that only gets worse for Rogue because Caps has so much mobility. When he gets Zhonya's, it's going to be even harder. Luckily, he lost his flash there. 1 minute 40 seconds on the Dragon. Won't have the flash for the Dragon. And he has 10 Magi stacks too, so one more team fight could go towards 25.
He's 5-0-2 and he fought a Magi's in the final. I mean, yeah, exactly.
I mean, he also went Rabbit on second item. Like, this guy is there to get as much damage down as possible in as short a period of time as possible, and it's working for G2 right now.
Yeah. And obviously that puts an even bigger spotlight on players like Larssen. When we think about trying to contest the top at the end of the regular season, many people said he was robbed of being like top 2, even number 1 at the end of his performance. And often one of the criticisms for Larssen throughout his entire career has been in these clutch moments when the pressure is on, when the stakes are at their highest. Can he deliver? And players like Caps, that's like second nature. That's where they thrive. Yeah. The pressure is kind of what enables them. But Larssen is a player that's still trying to prove himself. And obviously on a champion like Lucian, he had a lot of agency in the early game and he was shut down a little bit by this Ahri and the Jarvan. But he still has carry potential. On this Lucian, working towards that third item, he still has the ability to turn fights around. And it's still a long series, but eyes will be on him to see if he can make something happen to help turn this game around for Rogue.
TB coming in from Caps, just wants to keep tempo in the bot lane, keep that bot push. This bot tower has been something Rogue have been trying to get for so long. And if they can get bot push and mid push 30 seconds for this Drake, then what's Rogue's avenue into it? Maybe they could just go for a Baron rush, trade Soul for Baron, and then try to stabilize the game by getting the standing gold on the map. That would just be so impossible if you don't get enough to crawl your way to some kind of advantage. G2 will have the mounts off the rest of the game, of course. Caps making sure they can't come through bot, so Rogue making the decision to go through mid. Now Targamas is lying in wait. They're going to have to face check eventually.
Who's going to face check? Is it Trimby? He's pretty squishy. Only the locket and plated seal caps for him. Caps still
Didn't see him.
enemy lines. That didn't see him. It's around the angle.
Broken Blade pinks the bush as well, so they know Broken Blade's here, but they don't know Caps is here. He's lying in wait over the wall. Rogue.
Targamas has the quickness, has the flash, has every engage opportunity. Larssen looking for the top side of this. Broken Blade maybe acting as a little bit of a bait as Caps is in the right position. Is it the right time for G2? Trimby's going to step forward here. Rogue, the charm onto Trimby. Caps with the Everfrost as well. Trimby survives, though. Broken Blade goes in. The quickness of the backline, but Cataclysm's not going to be able to lock them up. Oh no, when they pulse the stopwatch, Larssen trying to get away. The culling, not enough. It's a 1-for-2 trade so far, but Targamas will fall as well, but Caps continues to put the damage down. It's Odo and Malvang versus the world, and the world is going to come crashing down on both of their heads. Malvang gets one in response, but Jankos and Caps clean him up.
Oh, Caps! He is back, baby! Again, puts G2 on his back in that fight. Flack it falls, Broken Blade gets a lot of work done, but it's the 8-0 Ferrari with another 100% kill participation that wins in the fight and wins in the soul.
What a stunning flank from Caps. He just removed the initiation. Once again, this is the third time that he has just taken Trimby out of the fight. The charm lands, the plan comes together, and he just gets shut down. Starting this fight 4v5, Trimby lands a good ultimate onto Broken Blade, but you can see the engage from G2. The ultimate here from Flacket as well, creating so much space, getting that initial kill, and huge props to Rogue. They make this fight look close, but the moment that Caps rejoins the fray, it's a one fight for G2.
Yeah, and it's Odo and Malrang who actually get onto the bot lane of G2, manage to kill them, but like you said, Caps is just running loose in this fight from their entrance red all the way around to their blue entrance and then back into River. He's chasing them down. This Ahri is going to be a big problem for Rogue the longer the series goes on. Maybe something they need to think about if it does go to game 2 and G2 get the win.
This man, he's built his stacks, boys. He is at 25 off the back of that fight. Level 16 on the Ahri. Can we quickly click the Ahri observers just so I can have a look at how much AP he has right now? 728. Just a meager 728 ability power. No big deal.
Trimby's locked up here with Jankos. Jankos should be able to win that 1v1, but Broken Blade may come in for a little bit of a helping hand, equalize it down, but look at the shield from the mountain, from the locket, and then the bullet time rips through Rogue. Malrang and Odo able to retreat for the moment. Still Trimby dying off towards the top side. Jankos distracted by him. The culling out from Larssen. Broken Blade down to half HP. Trimby and Jankos still fighting.
Yeah,
Jankos, you can do it, man! I believe in you, Jankos. There we go! He killed a support! Let's go!
He can take his time as well because Baron's up. You can see Larssen just used his TP to bot lane and Malrang's on bot crap, so this Baron is as good as gone. G2 now have Soul there. Baron, I mean, if Rogue want to find a way back into this game, it might have to be an Elder Dragon.
I mean, a very impressive game 1 from G2. Obviously still a long best of 5 to go, but remember that coming into the final, through the lower bracket, G2 is 9-0. Obviously, winning this game will put them at 10-0. But that's
maths right there.
That is an impressive record, especially when you think of the expectations that surrounded this team. They find themselves with a 4K gold lead. The analyst desk was split in terms of the votes as to who would come out on top, but many consider Rogue the favorites. All I can say is right now, G2 is looking good. And what will the adaptations be for Game 2? When we think about comeback opportunities for Rogue, they really do need a bit of a miracle. You know, we talked so much about the amount of mobility, the lack of crowd control. It feels like the G2 kind of have all the options, whereas Rogue need the perfect formula in order to find the perfect fight, and G2 is just not giving it to them.
I mean, Flacket doesn't have Flash for a little while, but I think G2 setting up the siege. They won't have Vision Rogue to find and engage. Malorang's Flash was used to get on top of Flacket, and like we talked about, there's not much lockdown to get onto this MF. You know, Jarvan's very easy point and click. Aphelios can't move if he has no Flash, but Flacket has Stopwatch, has Cleanse with Trimby's Leona. Rogue trying to set up a pick here, trying to find where G2 are. Flacket's stacking this bot wave to make sure it's as big as possible. G2's Jankos and Targamas there to cover, while Caps and Broken push down mid, playing on 2 lanes here, G2.
Yeah, they're setting up the waves beautifully. The engage comes in.
Flackett's able to walk away. That is a full equalizer that he tanked there, and he's able to walk away with basically no damage to his health bar. Caps now TPs down towards the bottom lane as Broken Blaze coming in for the fight as well. The quickness onto the backline, one already down, and they're looking for more. G2 take 2 with the double. Flacket finally on the board. The third comes in for Broken Blade, and Rogue can only stand and watch.
Yeah, it looks like they could just run it down and end here, Medic.
They can definitely do that, Cagel. Obviously, G2 have a penchant for a fountain dive, so we'll see if they decide to end it right now. The Nexus Tower is their target to start. Larson and Comp can only watch as their allies' corpses are strewn in the bottom lane, and G2, in dominant fashion, make it 10-0.
Great game from start to finish. You unlock Caps, and Caps is just taking over the map with Jankos again. I think this Ari is a problem.
Yes.
I think the Jarvan is a problem.
Yeah.
I think this early game playmaking and Caps being on such a playmaking mid and being able to be that individual decision-making assassin is a problem.
3-2-14 for Jankos. He was literally involved in every single kill. He intentionally